To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kiro's show here. Now, as of the time of recording for the poll, this is the results. Everybody voted for Kendo and All Might to get quirks. But apparently, someone thought Midoriya was getting a quirk too. He was not. He was not included in this. Now, with that being said, sorry to disappoint whoever that was. But now, let's continue. All for One Deku isn't too sure how All Might's body will react to getting a quirk. So, well, yeah, this is going to be a bit odd. Even then, the quirk he is going to give All Might is going to induce a slight healing factor. Meaning that over time, All Might will begin to feel better. Initially, putting in the quirk would be tricky, since you basically have to work around One for All, and its tendency to fight with All for One. However, since these two are not trying to force it and are actually trying to work together, this would make it a bit easier on the user's body. The quirk, it will not be a very strong one, but, well, yeah, it's going to be at least present and show whenever it does heal. Since All Might, whenever he does get this quirk, one thing would happen. You can start seeing that it's beginning to work. All Might actually gaining a bit of muscle mass back immediately. Kinda surprising everyone. While for Kendo, the quirks she does get are going to be 2. I'm only limiting it to those 2 and these 2 only. Now, she is going to be getting a version of Mount Lady's quirk. That is a bit odd, since what it's going to be doing is that it's basically like a half and half quirk. One that has been mixed together with another quirk. Now, basically take David's shields, bendy fingers, and start adding more and more quirks to it, along with Mount Lady's, along with a bit of a stretchy quirk. And what do you get? The user of this quirk will be able to somewhat elongate their limbs, along with enlarging themselves to any size they desire. You want to be about twice your size, go ahead. 3 times, go ahead. After that, you can start enlarging yourself to basically be around the size of around Mount Lady. The quirk is going to be super strength. Obviously. Now, this quirk, it's going to be easily hidden. Someone has been asking me to give her Amp, which I would do, but I'm trying to be subtle about these power-ups, since if they come out of nowhere, it begins to get more suspicious. Now, with that being said, everyone would have headed back home, and they do have roughly about a week before they do have to go on this field trip. Or, well, the camp thing, as they call it. They themselves aren't really too sure what they're going to be doing over there. So, during this time, Midoriya would have helped Kendo get used to her new quirk. Now, she would still be a bit more surprised by it. The feeling of, well, having more quirks and having a bit more power is a bit odd. Her going to the beach one day and actually just throwing out her hand, holding it up as her entire body someone just grows larger. And yeah, it's actually a bit cool. Along with that, she can throw back her arm and then cock back her fist, throwing it forwards and immediately letting it fly. Being able to actually swing it around and using something like Black Whip. Deku and Kendo actually having a bit of a sparring session. since she does want to get used to this new quirk. Along with the super strength behind it, it makes it a lot easier for her to throw around her own hands. Since, well, the amount of training she did before was already able to let her move them, but now she is just faster. With that being said, these two are going to be sparring. Well, All Might is informing Principal Nezu about a bit of a situation. Him explained to Principal Nezu that apparently things beyond our reality are, well, beginning to leak in. Mr. Nezu not really sure what All Might means. Before, All Might just explains about the multiverse, trying to explain to him that he's received a visit from someone outside the reality. And, well, it might be as very surprising as to who it is, along with what they were able to do. Principal Nezu asking All Might if he is okay, since, well, the amount of trauma on his body may start to be affecting his mind. All Might actually buffing down, and Nezu actually looking up at him. A bit more curious and surprised as he does see All Might's. His wound is about, let's say, 10 to 15% healed. And Nezu would notice this immediately, actually asking All Might a ton of questions and trying to run through everything. Him telling Mr. Nezu that he is perfectly fine, in fact. He is not, well, hallucinating or messing around or whatever you might think, sir. But I am being completely serious. The person in question was able to give me a power. And, well, not just me. I believe I need to contact Sir Night-Eye. He would want to know about this, since it goes against, I believe it goes against his foresight. He did say I would die, but, well, I'm not so certain now. He may have, All Might pausing, wanting to say that Sir Night-Eye may have made a false prediction, but that is not happened before. Him just, well, telling Mr. Nezu that along with this happened to me, Kendo, the girl from Class 1A with the big hands quirk. She also was able to get 2 gifts from this person, along with the man in question. He calls himself Izuku Midoriya. Principal Nezu a bit confused, asking if that isn't All Might's successor that goes by that name. Him saying yes, but this Midoriya, or version of Midoriya as I'll call him, he does possess a quirk. Not only one to come here and go back, but it's the amount of quirks he possesses that somewhat frighten me. He possesses around 3 billion quirks. Principal Nezu confused, and asking what does All Might mean by this. So he could easily kill us both. Well, that's not the thing that alarmed me. Apparently in that reality he is All for One's son. And, yikes. The amount of power that boy holds is scary. But he does say that he is a hero, along with the fact that me and him are both dead. Although that's not what I'm curious about. He says that whenever I died somewhere around the USJ events. He didn't specify how, or what killed me. Along with that, his mannerisms and the way he acted. Young Midoriya hasn't told me anything about this him, or version of himself that he knows. So, All Might just saying that he does want to look around, but he can't exactly get there. So he would like to understand things. Now, with that being said, let us cut back over to the beach. Midoriya and Kendo still sparring. Her throwing out her hand and elongating it. Midoriya actually throwing up his hands to block and catch her fist, as he just throws his own hand out and stop her fist with his palm, sliding backwards as she enlarged it, and he would begin to move forwards, stepping forwards and actually trying to fight with her. Her actually a bit surprised as she had to bring her arm up, swing her arm over her head, and Midoriya grabbed it on, still holding onto it. Him going around 70 to 80 feet up into the air before she just throw it back down and smash it directly onto the beach, creating a bit of a small shockwave. As this new outfit she's wearing was a bit of a thing that version of Deku gave her. He used his creation quirk to create an elastic outfit that he believed would fit. Either way, if it didn't, it would be a one-size-fits-all. Now, with that being said, she would have enlarged her body and run over, throwing her arm backwards and immediately throwing it forwards, elongating it and smashing directly into the ground, where Midoriya was. Midoriya running up her arm and actually being able to jump upwards and sock her directly in the face. Her being sent moving backwards as Deku would just throw out his hand, using Black Whip to yank her to the ground and basically tie her up. This being a bit surprising, as she would have decreased her size, telling Midoriya that was actually a bit of fun, and that, well, this is still odd. I mean, yeah, kinda. The two going over and sitting down at the beach. Well, the staircase by the beach. Them thinking, exactly how much does this affect us? What do you mean? Well, I'm just thinking. You hid a lot of secrets from me, along with that vial thing. So, all this time you've been getting outside help, along with actually interacting with All Might and getting his quirk. Well, yeah, when you say it like that, I suppose it does sound bad. So, are you even wondering why you're supposed to be getting All Might's quirk or anything like that? Well, not really. Midoriya just throwing his hands backwards, over his head, and just leaning up against the wall, saying that he's just kinda glad that there's no more secrets. He's told her everything. Well, she knows everything. And, well, All Might has told him about All for One. Although I still find it weird. I didn't think there was a version of me out there like that. Let alone different versions of me. Midoriya just thinking. That does seem a bit cool. But even then, as Kendo would just get up and sit down directly on Deku, throwing her hands up and actually moving his own, grabbing onto them and just telling him that it's okay. In fact, she kinda can't blame him. If one day all of a sudden she got versions of herself coming from different realities, she probably wouldn't know how to explain that too without sounding a bit crazy. Her just staring at Midoriya. And Midoriya actually feeling the difference in her hands and her grip strength. They do seem to be a lot stronger. Asking her if she even knows how to properly control that. To which she would just say that she is still learning. Although crushing a few doorknobs was a bit not easy to explain to her parents. Yeah, I don't think any of this is going to be easy to explain. Midoriya basically just moving forwards, and somewhat just using One for All to actually increase his own strength. Telling her, but let's see exactly how far that can go. As the two would spend more time training. Midoriya actually around 10%, while Kendo is roughly around, well, that area. She is using her grip strength along with her super strength in unison to try and see exactly how far she can push herself physically. Midoriya increasing and increasing, and Kendo finding a surprisingly high limits. 20% of one furl is roughly about her limit, since it starts to actually hurt her hands. Midoriya going with the idea that if you can hold up to my grip strength, that means that you have equal amounts of grip strength. But if it does start to hurt and other things like that, then you would not be able to dish out that own strength. After that does happen, the two would just spend the remainder of the week actually just chilling out and having a bit of fun, going to arcades and actually going on a bit of another date. Afterwards, well, they would have gone back to UA. And everyone would be talking today. Talking about what they've been doing over the last week. Especially since they basically had to postpone or at least throw back the trip to the island. Not island. Trip to the forest camp. Because of the events of the island, they wanted to make sure everyone was properly okay. And that the Pussycats had enough time on their schedule to prepare what they needed to. Whatever that meant. As whenever that does happen, this is whenever Midoriya and Kendo would have arrived, getting on the bus and actually heading out with everyone else. Now, I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but I do need to end the video here, since things are getting loud again in my house and I do have to go to work today. Along with that, I've barely been able to record at all anyway, so I do hope you guys enjoyed it at least.